Hello everyone, I'm seeing you from mysteriously beautiful Galaha. This is where the Pekoe Trail stage number 2 begins. In fact, it starts from Galaha town, but we walked about 1 kilometer where the Galaha Oya crosses our path. So from here onwards, we are going to continue our journey towards Loolecondera. This is where Galaha Oya crosses our path. We actually meet many of her branches along the way. This is the lowest elevation in our hike today at 2628 feet or 801 meters. Let's continue our journey then. This is the beautiful Galaha. We crossed her yesterday while we were doing Pekoe Trail stage 1. Here is a very important landmark. This is where we leave the main road and turn to our right at 1.3 kilometer mark. Make a note of this signage. Another important landmark. You can see there's a school to the right, so we have to go around it. This is the surrounding views of beautiful, misty and green Galaha. Absolutely breathtaking. We'll be circling around this hill if I'm not mistaken, and then we come to the extension of Talagala Forest Reserve. Loolecondera is to that side. You can see this amazing mountainous view. This is what Pekoe Trails bring you. Another important landmark. The signage saying welcome to Deltot Estate Lower Division. We are on this well paved uphill path, continuing our journey on Pekoe Trail stage 2 from Galaha to Loolecondera. Loolecondera is spelled as Loolecondera on many of the maps, but the pronunciation goes as Loolecondera. I will tell you why it is called as Loolecondera. The total distance today is 9.13 miles or 14.7 kilometers. Trailhead at Galaha, it was at 2749 feet or 838 meters. We just crossed the lowest elevation point which I showed you. The trail end is at 3846 feet or 1172 meters. The highest elevation point is going to be 4600 feet, 4402 meters. It's still early in the morning. You can see there are people going on about their daily chores. We are at 2.1 kilometer mark, crossing bridge number 2 of the trail. This is actually across one of the branches of Galaha, which we came across at almost 1 kilometer mark this morning. So she will flow and join the main stream of Galaha. Here we have to take a right turn, just like this uphill path. You can see my trekking partner is going so fast. So far, still early in the morning, before 7 o'clock, but we are making good ground. Already 2.1 kilometers under 1 hour. Once again on a steep section of the Pekoe stage 2, going through the Deltot estate. Talking about today's walk that we started in Galaha, close to the post office where we stopped our stage 1 yesterday. Then we walked about 1 kilometer on Deltot Wata road. It's actually you have to take the left narrow road going downhill from Galaha junction, and we came to the lowest elevation point, the bridge number 1. That's where I started recording our journey, because it was so busy in the morning at Galaha town. There was no way for me to do the starting point video. And today's hike can be broken into 2 distinct parts. First section between Galaha and Deltot, 6.5 kilometers. Second section between Deltot and Loolecondera, 8.2 kilometers. So in total 14.7 kilometers. You might even notice that I'm already huffing and puffing. We are barely into the 3rd kilometer mark, so we have to go another 4/5 of the way. Not easy, but because we started early in the morning, we'll be able to cover most of the ground before sun makes an appearance. It was slightly drizzling early in the morning. I was worried that we would have to use our raincoats, but so far the weather is holding. It's misty and gloomy, but no sign of rain. And walking through this Deltore estate is a nice experience. You can hear lots and lots of birds. You just saw a kingfisher, and the morning is always great time. Now, before I run out of breath, I'm going to stop you guys here, catch some breath and have some water. Here is my trekking partner coming up the hill. Yet another important landmark. This is where you have to take the right hand path. You can probably make out an arrow sign on a tree in the distance. Don't take the left path with the estate signage. Here is a view of the beautiful Deltore estate, managed by Janata Estate Development Board. If I remember correct, they are also part of the Pekoe Trail project, which was funded by European Union with further assistance from USAID. This is the estate road. We are just taking a little break here. Still 7:10. It's about 1 hour since we started our hike this morning from Galaha. So far we have walked almost 3.5 kilometers, meaning we have 3 more to go to Deltore. You can actually see the Galaha Deltore road from here with some buildings in the town as well. It's too far away, I can't show you using the GoPro. Afterwards we start the second stage from Deltore to Loolecondera. Very historic place, really beautiful. That's where Sir James Taylor started tea plantation in Sri Lanka in 1867. So long ago. I really can't wait to get there. I've been there before to climb Kondagala and visit all the special interest of attractions of James Taylor, but this time it's going to be a different experience altogether. We are continuing our walk after the small break. The sun is still not up yet, which is good news actually, so that we can cover most of the distance without having to go through the hot sun. And also we are making good progress, so that it will give us more time to enjoy Loolecondera. That's what I'm looking forward to. However, we don't plan to visit the special attractions in Loolecondera estate, just walking through, following the Pekoe Trail. However, I've done that before a couple of times, but I don't mind it doing again. But today we won't have time because we need to make a dash back to Kandy for our overnight stay. This is a nice forest trail. You can see really good. You can hear plenty of birds in the background. Still early morning, they are going about finding food and doing all the morning rituals, while we are continuing our Pekoe stage 2. We did stage 1 yesterday. That was over 12.8 kilometers from Hatton to Galaha. We walked along the Hatton mountain range most of the way and reached Galaha Oya and then Galaha town, where we completed stage 1 successfully. So far we are going all right with stage 2. We have come across this beautiful water stream. However, I don't recommend drinking straight from that, especially in the dry season. Always better to carry your own water and some water purification tablets in case of an emergency where you have no choice but to drink from streams like this. This is the forest area where this water stream originates, and I'll show you where it flows. And it flows downstream to merge with Galaha. This is yet another branch of Galaha. While we are continuing our walk, I want to tell you about Nilambawaya. If you watched Pekoe Trail stage 1, I mentioned about Nilambawaya in that video. Nilambawaya is very important for Pekoe Trail because we cross Nilambawaya, actually branches of Nilambawaya most of the time. Even the small water stream that we crossed, it's also part of Nilambawaya. Nilambawaya originates from Loolecondera or Kondagala. That's an extension of Pidurutalagawa Conservation Forest. Then she is joined by Galaha that we have been coming across so many times. Galaha originates from Galaha Deltota mountain range. Together they flow as Nilambawaya to Mahavali river at a place called Doluwa between Godawela and Ganegoda. The nearest towns are Gampola and Geliyoya. Nilambawaya also creates a reservoir called Nilamba Reservoir located at Gurukale. That's downstream of Galaha and Nilambawaya confluence where they merge. Nilambawaya also creates a beautiful waterfall called Nuwara Eliya. So that's some information about Nilambawaya and Galaha. In fact, Galaha is merging with Nilambawaya to become Nilambawaya, one of the main tributaries of Mahavali river. Right, we are continuing our journey. I really love this section of the trail, really good. You can see there are so many trees, lots of birds. It's a heavenly walk after all. We are at 4-kilometer mark. Here you have to take the left path. There's also an arrow marked on a tree. From here about 100 meters on you will come across a set of line houses. There you have to take a right turn essentially through the line houses. From there about 300 meters on you will come across another very important landmark, which is the third bridge that we come across in this Pekoe Trail stage 2. It's very important you keep a track of that because it's a very important landmark where you have to take a left turn on the bridge. From there we will continue our journey. There is a prominent another landmark beyond that called Suduwella Temple that is also marked on the Google Maps. From there we'll walk through some more line houses and tea estates all the way till Deltota town. Then we take a right turn towards Galaha about 50 meters from Deltota junction, and then take a sharp left turn uphill towards Loolecondera. Let's go and see whether our markings are correct. Here is community signage, the village known as Kallu Malai. We have to take a right turn. Here we have arrived at bridge number 3, 4.6 kilometer mark. Very important landmark. You must find this, otherwise you are lost. From here it's about less than 2 kilometers to Deltota town. This bridge is across the Suduwella Kandura small stream. This is one of the headwaters of Galaha. Together they go and create Galaha downstream. This is the view towards Deltota and beyond. I think we have to walk across that pinus forest to the left towards Loolecondera. Here is a view towards Galaha Deltota road and the mountain range. Down below is a stream which feeds Galaha. Here is another important landmark. This is marked as Suduwella Vihare on Google Maps. Panoramic view time. You can see my trekking partner going uphill. Now we have trekked more than 5 kilometers. In the distance, right in the middle, we can make out Kondagala. That's part of Loolecondera. And also there's a communication tower which is called as Deltota second tower, if I'm not mistaken. That's how it's marked on the map. We are actually trekking very close to that, so you can make out the elevation gain we'll have to achieve in a little bit. That will be the second stage of our journey from Deltota to Loolecondera. Right, we are going to have our breakfast. You can see my trekking partner is already enjoying. Today we are having roti with polos curry. If you don't know what they are, do a Google search and check. They are very tasty. Typical Sri Lankan breakfast, especially the polos curry. It's mouth watering. Here is a closer view of polos curry with roti. Looks delicious. Yeah, ready to begin our journey again after breakfast. That was really delicious. You can see towards Deltota. That's where we have to go. This was the view we were enjoying while we were having that tasty breakfast. We are once again on the trail, continuing our journey. Now we have come about 5.3 kilometers. Very soon we have to leave this prominent path on to the left, which is going to be like a small footpath that will take us through some more line houses, then towards divisional secretariat of Deltota just before the town. Then we enter into the town through the bus stand. There we'll have to walk on the main road until we turn left towards Loolecondera. We left the main prominent road, now on a small path climbing uphill. You can see my trekking partner is taking a break. There was an arrow marked on a tree where you have to turn left. Now we are slowly climbing once again towards Deltota. So far it's been relatively uphill climb, but we were treated with some beautiful flat areas, especially in the Deltota estate section. That was very rewarding hike after all, and we enjoyed a sumptuous breakfast, really delicious. And now once again heading in our direction towards Deltota. Panorama time once again. Look at this beautiful mountain view. The sun is out and about, but not disturbing us that much. And this is the path we have to go. We are going to continue our panoramic view towards Deltota and Loolecondera. You can make out the beautiful and long mountain range. You can probably hear the rustling of the wind. This is just breathtaking view. Here is a view towards Galaha. Looking so amazing. I just love this greenery, out of this world. We climbed uphill to the right through those mana bushes. We just passed Deltota town. I didn't stop to take videos because there were lots of people, lots of noise, vehicle movements. Therefore we just crossed the town. Now we are on our uphill path towards Loolecondera. Deltota is located at 1025 meters. We started our trek at 838 meters. We have climbed almost 200 meters by now. We have plenty more to go. This is the path that we have to climb uphill all the way. We have entered into the pinus forest. It's very difficult to make out the path here because there are no signs or arrows marked. We are just trying to walk through using the Google Maps and the trail. This is the pinus forest, which looks very intimidating, and it's very difficult to make out a path in here. You can see the difficult terrain that we have to tackle through this pine forest. Here is the view towards Deltota town through the pine trees. We are slowly climbing uphill through this pine forest. While my trekking partner is enjoying the view towards Deltota town, you can see the path that we came. This is the first and the only sign we have come across inside this pine forest, which was a great relief having followed the Google Maps all this time. I wonder whether you can hear the wind noise. The weather is taking a turn, so we are getting ready for rain, wearing our raincoats and backpack covers. You can never be sure of the weather, especially in the mountains, so it's better to be ready for all eventualities. This is the path that we have to go uphill towards Loolecondera. We are still about 8 kilometers away from our destination. Alright, I'm trying to walk you through this pine forest to get a feeling as to what it is like to walk through this pine forest. It looks very eerie, almost ghostly. If there was mist, that would have turned things very interesting. Typically pine forests look like this, somewhat like lonely, ghostly places, and when there is a lot of wind noise, just like today, it makes things even more horrifying. By the way, I don't mind the pine forest or the mist, just that rain I'm worried about, because if it rains, this area will have plenty of bleachers and trekking would be extremely difficult. Anyway, this is a bit of an idea as to what it is like and to walk through a pine forest. Now my friend is coming behind me. He is also prepared for the rain, but now the weather once again has taken another turn. Now it looks nice and sunny and bright. Maybe it's trying to play games with us. Here is my trekking partner walking uphill, braving the winds, rain and leeches. Here is the tree canopy of a pine forest. We continue our journey. Thankfully, the rain seems to have gone away somewhere. I don't know where. And there are some, I don't know whether they are birds or some animals making some noises in the distance. Anyway, walking through this pine forest is otherworldly experience. Some can say it's not a very pleasant experience. Some might say it's entertaining, exhilarating. I don't know. It's a bit unnerving for sure, but at least we are glad now that we are on the correct path. Finally, we have reached the end of the pine forest. It was about 500 to 600 meter walk, but it was really unnerving because there were no signs until we came across that lone green arrow. That was a very welcome sign. Anyway, now we are heading out into the open once again. Let's see what awaits us now. We entered into another pine forest, having crossed the initial one. Then we bypassed a small village. Now we are once again in a pine forest, battling through this man and all the other undergrowth. This is the strenuous path that we have to tackle along. You can see on the left hand side it's a sheer drop, and on the right hand side there are so many bushes, thorns and all the other things that you need to watch out. It's important that you wear jeans or longs when you are tackling this through, and long t-shirts, otherwise you will be cut to ribbons by these razor sharp mana bushes. And you will also have to watch out for the leeches, especially during the wet season, and also watch your step very carefully so as not to fall into the downhill on your left hand side. It's a really difficult section, but I'm trying to take you through as much as possible so that you can get a feeling of the trek and the path. This is the path that we have to walk on. You can barely make it out. That's why it's essential you have the GPS map ready. This is another view towards our destination. Can you make out that communication tower? That is what I showed you on our way between Galaha and Deltota. We are actually trekking very close to that communication tower. If you find this, that means you are on the right path. You can see there's small like a covil to your right, and my trekking partner Anna is standing on the trail that you have to continue. You will have to go further to the left, having crossed those pine trees. We are looking back towards the way we came. There was hardly any signage therefore you have to be ready with the GPS map at all times. Right throughout inside the pine forest we only saw that lone green arrow which I showed you some time ago. We are still inside the pine forest, tackling our way through these mana bushes and all the other undergrowth. Right, for a change I'm following my trekking partner, and you can see the difficulty of this trail. The sun is still up there. The rains have completely gone away, thankfully, but I wouldn't mind a bit of cloud cover to shelter us from the sun when we come out of the pine forest. I'll tell you how long you have to walk inside this pine forest once we get out of here. You can see there is hardly any path. You have to use your instinct and the Google Maps to find this, otherwise you're gonna get totally lost. I'm surprised to find the trail in this condition, especially a trail like Pekoe Trail not having very clear footpath or signage. This is why it's important for you to be ready for such eventualities and have your GPS map preloaded and ready. Finally, we are out of the dreaded pine forest. We entered into that at 6.6 kilometer mark. Now we are at 8.3 kilometer mark. So 1.7 kilometers of sheer agony. If possible, I would recommend avoiding that section as much as possible, because there was hardly any signage other than that lone green arrow. The path is overgrown, absolutely no maintenance whatsoever. It's just that if you don't have the Google Maps, you are going to get totally lost, and also you might be prone to injuries because you can't see the trail properly. Therefore, be ready for that and come prepared. That 1.7 kilometers felt like 17 kilometers because it was so difficult to tackle through that undergrowth inside the Mana forest. Anyway, we are going to continue from here. We have another 6.4 kilometers to our destination. Beautiful mountain range to the right. If I'm not mistaken, that is Kukulagala, also known as Diyatalawa Kanda. I managed to climb that a couple of years ago. There's also a video journey of that if you want to check it out. You are looking towards the path where we came through that dreaded pine forest, and here's my trekking partner coming through this abandoned tea field. Right, another pano time. This time looking towards Deltota Galaha mountain range in full. There are some trees in front blocking the view, but I'm sure you can still make out this majestic panoramic view unfolding before our eyes. Now we are coming towards Rikillagaskada and Hewa Hatta, where our beautiful Kukulagala lady is. She is such a breathtaking and sensual lady. Now you can get an idea of the climb we have done. In the middle down below is Deltota town at 1025 meters. Now we are at almost 1300 meters. That was a very steep climb. Here is a better viewpoint. Now you can make out Deltota town and surrounding mountains very clearly. To the left is the difficult path that we came uphill. Here is the second arrow that we came across between Deltota and here. It was very rare to find this. We came across only two of them, one inside the pine forest and here. Once again, don't rely on the signage. Always have your Google map ready. Now we have to continue to this side for another few kilometers before we enter into the Loolecondera estate. We are now on a very prominent jeep track. I feel really good now because we know the path is correct, and thanks to our GPS tracking we were able to get here at last. Now we should be able to make our way rather easily towards Loolecondera estate. the home of Sri Lankan tea plantations. Anyway, now we are at an elevation of roughly 1300 meters. So from Deltota we have climbed uphill approximately 275 meters. In terms of distance from Deltota, we have come about 2 kilometers. We should soon reach the base of the communication tower. It's marked as Deltota Communication Tower 2, if I remember correct on the Google Maps. And from there, the trail should level out and it will be a nice flat walk. That's something I can do really badly now. You can see the zigzagging path from the left hand side to the right, and Anna is taking a seat just like James Taylor sat on his seat enjoying the Sri Lankan beautiful nature. Alright children, panorama time once again. On our left hand side is the path that we came uphill. You can see the pinus forest that we were struggling for 1.7 kilometers, and the beautiful Deltota Galaha mountain range. That's where the Galaha way originates from. And down below, Deltota town and the Deltota Hewa Hatta road. And coming further to the right, we can see beautiful and majestic Kukula Gala. Yet another window of opportunity. We are now looking towards Madamahanuwara and Deanston. In fact, we can see Madamahanuwara peak looking pretty much like Sripada, which I initially mistook it for Sripada. Then I realized Sripada couldn't be on this direction but on the opposite direction. Beyond the Madamahanuwara peak, to the left is the entire Knuckles mountain range, starting from Navenagala and then Dothalugala all the way towards Knuckles 5 peaks. Just went past 9 kilometer mark. That means we only have another 5.7 kilometers to walk, out of which approximately 4 kilometers will be through Loolecondera estate on James Taylor Road. That's gonna be a walk I'm gonna enjoy so much. We are actually now very close to the Deltota Communication Tower 2. That's how it's marked on the Google map. We are trekking below the tower at 1340 meters. The tower is approximately another 20 or so meters above us. We should get there very soon. Afterwards, it's leading us all the way to Loolecondera estate. I just can't get enough of this view. Just want to keep looking at it until the end of my life. It's so breathtaking and enchanting. Sri Lanka is such a beautiful country. We need to look after her, just like our eyes. Another beautiful window. We are once again looking towards Madamahanuwara peak and Navenagala mountain range. Down below you can see the Kandy reservoir. As we get close to Loolecondera estate, you can see these beautiful tea flowers. There's a nice little stream. Once again, I'm not sure whether this is drinkable straight out of the spring. Better use some water purification tablets if you have. We have arrived at a very important milestone. 9.3 kilometers. We can now see the communication tower up there. We are at 1340 meters elevation. Our highest elevation is going to be 1402 meters inside Loolecondera estate. Yet another panoramic view. Looking so pretty. I can't get enough of this view. Just can't get enough of it. From the point that where we saw the communication tower, the path once again got inside the jungle. Once again with heavy undergrowth. Very difficult to navigate. But thanks to the Google Maps, we were able to find our way. We have finally arrived within touching distance of Kondagala and Loolecondera estate. You can see the path that we have to go and the distant mountains. Haputale Conservation Forest. And then we come towards Hewa Hatta. There are tea estates of Moolloya, Rookwood and Hope also on that side. Then we come towards Rikilla Gaskada. Down below is Loolecondera and Deltota Road. Here is beautiful Kukulagala. You can see the villages below us and the distant view of Kukulagala and this beautiful rocky formation to our right. Alright, I'm going to walk you through heaven. It's very rare you get to go to heaven, especially when you are alive. So this is one of those very rare opportunities for you to experience heaven while you are still alive. Now this is beautiful Loolecondera, central part of Sri Lanka, of Deltota and Hewahata. Kondagala is the highest point, close to 1500 meters. If I remember correct, 1514 meters. It's an extension of the Pidrutalagala Conservation Forest. Pidrutalagala is the highest mountain in Sri Lanka. 2524 meters in height. Once again, I think my memory is correct. And now we are walking through this beautiful section of Loolecondera estate. So pleasant despite the blazing hot sun. It's just gone by midday, but we are enjoying this view so much, and I hope you too are enjoying it as much as we do. But ideally you need to come here and experience this for real, otherwise it's just gonna be another YouTube experience. By the way, if you are doing the Pekoe Trail stage 2, you have to be very careful about the section between Deltota and Loolecondera, especially that 1.7 kilometer stretch through the fine forest. Have your GPS map ready and carry a lot of water, because you are doing almost 15 kilometers trekking, but it feels more, especially when you are trekking through that dense fine forest. You have to be ready, have some sunshade, sun cream, all that, plenty of vitamin C. That's what gonna keep you sane and help you tackle this uphill, somewhat typical path. But when you come here, having braved all of those things, you feel the effort was well worth it. And this view is just out of this world. I can't get enough of it. So beautiful, panoramic vistas of rolling hills, just incredible. On a clear day, we should be able to see all the way towards Knuckles mountain range as well. There's my trekking partner enjoying these beautiful views. I'm sure James Taylor would have had the pleasure of enjoying the same views in the 1860s. This is looking back towards where we came from. Incredible indeed, and the panorama time as well. We are now looking towards the east, where the Knuckles mountain range and Madamahanuwara peak is there. Wawatanna is also somewhere there. Then we come to Kukulagala, aka Diyatalawa. Don't misunderstand this with Diyatalawa town of Bandarawela. This mountain is known as Diyatalawa. I don't know why it's called Diyatalawa. Now we are coming towards Loolecondera and our path and Kondagala. On the Google Maps, you might see on the trail marked as Ravana Camping 360. I think it is the small hill up there. It's a very good vantage point, and I believe people come here for camping. This section that I am walking through is marked on the map as Hulang Ellegala. Hulang is wind. So it's like windy rock. Not sure why it's called as windy rock or Hulang Ellegala, but definitely there's plenty of wind here. Probably one of the reasons as to why it's called Hulang Ellegala. Another look towards Hulang Ellegala and Ravana Camping 360 and the path we took. Incredible sight indeed. And this is the path we have to continue towards Loolecondera estate. Now we are almost touching distance from Loolecondera, and so far we have done about close to 10 kilometers. That means we have another 4.7 kilometers to go. Yet another beautiful and clear view of Kondagala, 1514 meters in height. This is also known as Dotelgala in the metric map. Something to keep an eye out if you are doing Loolecondera. It's a fully worth visit to climb Kondagala. You will be rewarded with beautiful views towards Hantana mountain range and Knuckles, and also towards Sripada and Pekoe Hill and Kothmale. Remains of line rooms, I guess. You can see this also from the summit of Kondagala very clearly. You can also make out the communication tower that we came past. We once again have to battle through this thick undergrowth. You can make out those abandoned line houses in the distance. You can make out the forest department markings. We are entering a small forest patch which separates Loolecondera Tea Estate from the area where we were trekking. Now I'm going to give you a forestry trail experience. This is the tiny forest patch that we have to walk through before entering into Loolecondera Estate and James Taylor Road all the way towards main Kandy Road. We are now entering officially into Loolecondera Tea Estate. Now I'm going to wow you once again. Look at this panoramic view and our path. You can also make out the beautiful Hantana in the distance and Deltota Galaha mountain range. The communication tower that we walked past. That camping spot marked on the Google, and Nuwara Eliya also marked on Google, and abandoned line houses. We are now ready to enter into beautiful Loolecondera Tea Estate, and you can also make out one of these very rare green arrows painted on the rock. So far we have trekked approximately 10.5 kilometers, meaning we have another 4.2 kilometers to our destination. It's a very interesting point. That's where the Kandy and Nuwara Eliya district boundary runs. So we started our trek in Kandy district. We are also going to end that in Kandy district, but at the very border between Kandy and Nuwara Eliya. Pekoe Trail stage 1 started in Kandy and ended also in Kandy between Hantana to Galaha, and stage 2 is between Galaha to Loolecondera. This is the beautiful Loolecondera Tea Estate, the legacy of Sir James Taylor, who started this miracle in 1867. Such a wonderful location, beautifully maintained, and you can see my trekking partner Hana is going slowly uphill before we reach the James Taylor Road to our destination. We are now officially on the James Taylor Road. From here it's 3.8 kilometers to our destination. This is a very important junction. If you go to follow this road uphill, you can reach James Taylor's cottage, well, as well as Kondagala or Dotelgala. And if you were to follow the James Taylor Road towards downhill over there, you can then come to another junction where it goes to the left, where James Taylor's seat is. Here we are on James Taylor Road. On the left hand side you can probably make out a estate road through the tea bushes. That's the path towards James Taylor's seat. On the right hand side it goes uphill towards James Taylor's log cabin. Actually it's only the chimney that's remaining today, and his well, as well as the path to Kondagala. Beautiful location indeed, especially when there's a little bit of mist. The beauty multiplies. Now we are coming to the junction where the road towards James Taylor's seat onto the left. I think you can see that now. There is also signage here, but we are not going to visit any of these historic places. Instead, we are going to continue our path towards the trail end. This is the view towards James Taylor Seat. We can't see it from here, unfortunately. James Taylor's log cabin and the well are located up there. Well is located very nearby here. Another very important milestone, if I'm not mistaken, this is the highest elevation point in the Pekoe Trail stage 2 at 4,600 feet or 1,402 meters. We crossed the 1,400 meter mark, and there's a nice shady forest area on this trail. We are actually on James Taylor Road. So far we have trekked close to 11.3 kilometers, meaning we have another 3.4 kilometers to do. There's also a nice sort of like a mud hut. Not sure whether they have any tea or some fresh orange juice. Well, looks like it's empty. So our hopes of having a nice cup of tea or cool orange are shattered. But it's a nicely done. I wonder why they can't maintain a small shop to cater to all the visitors to Kondagala and Loolecondera. By the way, I remember I promised to tell you about Loolecondera as well, maybe in the next section. Just look at this beautiful green on the upper part of the tea estate. Looks absolutely beautiful and so green. Okay, there's a very friendly doggy also coming our way. Alright, it's time for me to tell you some information about Kondagala or Dotelgala. According to the metric map, elevation is marked as 1,514 meters or 4,967 feet. But if you use other sources like Google Earth or OpenStreetMap, their elevation is marked differently. For example, Google Earth shows as 1,502 meters and OpenStreetMap shows as 1,492 meters. So there are subtle differences in terms of the height. Now, Kondagala is home to many rivers. Primarily the Maawaya. Maawaya originates from Kondagala around the first tea field in Sri Lanka and crosses B364 Peradiniya Deltara Rikilla Gaskada Road at Loolecondera. Then she joins Victoria Reservoir or Mahavali River at Unuvinna of Mailapitiya. That's where the Mahavali Rajamawata is. Moolloya, which originates from Pidurutalaga Forest Reserve of Chariot Path, flows through Moolloya Estate and joins with streams coming from Hope and Rockwood estates on either side. She then crosses B364 near Hewahata and joins Maawaya at Unathanna, downstream of Gurugalloya Reservoir. She creates some beautiful waterfalls such as Moolloya Ella, Dungolla Ella, Mandawela Ella and Penapusnawa Cascades. And then comes Attabagayoya. She also originates from Kondagala and Pidurutalaga Forest Reserve. She is joined by many other streams coming from Pussellava. And then Attabagayoya flows to Mahavali River close to Kothmale Power Station. Some panoramic views of Loolecondera Estate. Looking so beautiful. Just look at this view. We will soon come to the turn-off where we can go to see the first tea field in Sri Lanka. We are entering into another beautiful stretch of James Taylor Road. I want to tell you the last river that originates from Kondagala and surrounding area. That is the superstar of our Pekoe Trail stage 1 and 2. She is the Nilambeoya or Nilambeoya, Nilambeoya, all these names. She originates from Loolecondera and Piduruthalagala Forest Reserves, close to Chariot Path. Galaha oil, which originates from Galaha Deltota mountain, and we crosses her so many times in our journey. Together they flow as Nilambe oil to Mahavali River between Gelioya and Gampola. Nilambe oil is also creating a beautiful waterfall called Nilambe Ella. That is in addition to the beautiful Nilambe reservoir. You can see my trekking partner is still ahead. We are continuing our journey. By the way, that was some information about the Kondagala and the rivers originating from it. Now let's see if I can share some information about Loolecondera and James Taylor. As we are nearing the end of our hike, I'm going to share some information about Loolecondera with you. It is the first tea plantation started by Scotsman James Taylor in 1867. Loolecondera is how the Britishers spelt it, but the Sinhala name is Loolecondera, which means a stream full of lula. Lula is a fish. In English it's called striped snakehead or mudfish. The scientific name, if I remember correctly, is Channa striata. I don't know if I pronounced it correctly. Taylor arrived in Sri Lanka in 1852, and 1867 he started tea plantation within 19 acres or 77,000 square meters. In 1872 he started the first tea factory in Sri Lanka, and then in 1873 or 1875, if I remember correct, Ceylon tea made its international debut when 23 pounds of tea produced by James Taylor reached London tea auction. You can see there is a beautiful summer hut with a small pond. You can come and rest here during your hike. We are now almost at the end of our hike. Another 1.9 more kilometers to go. Coming back to the story about Loolecondera and Ceylon tea. In 1891, Ceylon tea was sold at the London tea auction at the price of 36 rupees and 15 cents per pound. That's a remarkably high price at that time. And then in 1893, 1 year after James Taylor's death, which was in 1892, 1 million packets of Ceylon tea of the first shipment to London were sold at the Chicago World's Fair. The majority of the tea estates, I think more than 80%, were owned by the British companies from the James Taylor's era until about 1971. Unfortunately, the government of Sri Lanka introduced a Land Reform Act which granted the ownership of privately held tea estates to the government. In other words, nationalization of tea industry. Then in 1976, the Sri Lanka Tea Board, the Janata Estate Development Board and the Tea Small Holding Development Authority were established. The authorities of Sri Lanka built a museum at Loolecondera in 1992 to commemorate James Taylor's 100th death anniversary, centenary of his death. We have arrived at a very important milestone at the 13.5 kilometer mark. This is where the path branches off towards the first tea field in Sri Lanka, field number 7. It's approximately 1.2 kilometers away, but we are not going to pay a visit to that. Instead, we are going to continue our journey till the end at 14.7 kilometer mark. Okay, talking about James Taylor once again, he spent most of his life in Loolecondera until his death at the age of 57 in 1892. His body was buried in the Mahayava cemetery in Kandy, and on his headstone it reads as, "In pious memory of James Taylor of Loolecondera Estate, Ceylon, the pioneer of the Cinchona and tea enterprise in this island, who died 2nd May 1892, age 57 years." Such a legend he was. Thanks to him, Sri Lanka is renowned tea producer in the world. Although our legacy is declining gradually thanks to some mismanagement of the tea industry, Some believe nationalization of tea industry in the 1972 was also a major factor behind it. Anyway, we are still one of the major tea producers in the world. Hopefully we can retain that and continue to grow our tea industry, making the much needed foreign revenue. That is a little bit of information about Loolecondera and the legendary James Taylor. There is a panoramic view towards the Loolecondera estate and the path we came downhill. Such a beautiful place. I feel really sad to leave her, just like I felt sad yesterday when leaving Hantana mountain range. What to do? Every journey has a beginning as well as an ending, and our end point is very near. First tea field, field number 7, is located to the left of the frame, just below that massive rock. Another panoramic view towards 3 very important tea estates in the area: Moolloya, Rookwood and Hope. There are some nice beautiful waterfalls as well. Haputale Conservation Forest is up there, and Ramboda, Kandy Ramboda Nuwara Eliya road is beyond that. I'm not sure whether you can make out the mighty Knuckles mountain range in the distance, including the Madamaha Nuwara, which resembled Sri Pada at the beginning, and I almost mistook her for the sacred Sri Pada peak. We can see Navenagala and Dothalugala mountain ranges very clearly, and the Knuckles is further to the left. It's very difficult to make out through the haze. You can probably hear the Mawaya flowing down. You can see it from here, and also the main road. That's where our journey ends. As we are getting close to the end of our journey, I think it's time to reflect back on our journey. The total distance is 14.7 kilometers, so 9.13 miles. The trailhead elevation was at 2,749 feet. Trail end is going to be 3,846 feet. The highest point of the trail was at 4,600 feet, and the lowest point 2,628 feet. So they were all in feet. Now we are just getting close to the Loolecondera ticket counter as well as the tourist information center. That's where our journey is going to end, facing B364. The Kandy Nuwara Eliya district boundary also goes in the near vicinity. We are probably crossing it close to the tourist information center, if I remember correct. However, we are finishing our journey at the very end of the border, probably slightly inside Nuwara Eliya district. Never know, but that's where the border runs through, and that border follows Mawaya all the way towards Victoria Reservoir. Well, this looks like a good place to end our journey. I'm not going to go all the way to the B364 to end our journey because it's going to be very noisy, and we have to also wait for a bus. Therefore, we are going to end our journey from here, which is very close to the end point. Remember, it's very important that you come prepared for this trek. Basically, all treks that you do, preparation is the key. Especially for the Pekoe Stage 2, it's very important that you have your Google map preloaded with the GPS trail, because otherwise you will end up in a lot of trouble and getting lost in many places, especially in that pine forest section from Deltota towards Loolecondera. Other than that, you are okay in terms of the distance and the surrounding areas, very beautiful surrounding that you have to walk through. Carry a lot of water, and also please don't litter. Carry all the garbage with you. Don't harm the mother nature, please protect it. Whether you are a Sri Lankan or a foreigner coming to enjoy the beauty of this pearl of the Indian Ocean. With that message, this is Sri and my trekking partner Anna signing off from Loolecondera after our Pekoe Trail Stage 2. Hopefully we'll be able to bring you more stages in the coming journeys. Until then, stay safe and take care. This is the end point of the Pekoe Trail Stage number 2.